will say to him, you do that. And forget the money. Because if you say that getting the money is the most important thing, you will spend your life completely wasting your time. You'll be doing things you don't like doing in order to go on living, that is, to go on doing things you don't like doing, which is stupid. Better to have a short life that is full of what you like doing than a long life spent in a miserable way.
Yeah! What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Matty B, Epis Sports Radio's episode 61 of this Epis Radio edition. Thank you for joining me tonight, whether you're joining me on Twitch or YouTube. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. As always, I don't know if you've been living under a rock, but our president-in-chief, whatever you want to call him, certainly continues to make the headlines. And, of course, in a beautiful moment for the country, a unifying moment for the country as the United States men's hockey team wins gold against Russia. Not against Russia. First time since beating the Russians in 1980. Not against the Russians this time, no. Against the Canadians, okay? The first time they've won gold at that level since 1980. Of course, the moment is shattered shortly after the game's end during a celebration. Donald Trump, as one president would reach out to the men's team to congratulate them on their victory. And lo and behold, he just finds a way to just dig at the heartstrings of the American people and women all across this country, and men as well, if you care and you have a heart. I'm going to play the clip for you shortly, but just to point it out, Donald Trump makes a misogynistic joke towards the women's team and says that he basically reluctantly has to invite them to the White House as well, which is terrible in its own way. It's that typical toxic masculinity that we all know and love, right? It's put on display for the whole world to see, for the whole, especially our nation, a unifying moment for the country in which, that's what the Olympics are about, right? It's about, representing your country and having some pride and all that. And the very man in which we have appointed to run this country, whether you voted for him or not, you expect him to, or her, and obviously that's never been the case, and maybe reasons like this, because you expect them to rise to the occasion and to just eloquently congratulate and show a level of class, a level of maturity that you would hope for in a nation's leader. And Trump just time and time again shows you otherwise. And it's not the first denigrating comment he's had towards women in the past. We all remember the grab the pussy remark. I mean, this is who Trump is, plain and simple. And it's just, it's concerning, especially for me raising a daughter, amongst boys, mind you, where this type of locker room talk is, still clearly accepted in today's society. A lot of controversy in terms of the call because of how the men's team reacted. You have a pretty much overwhelming majority of them laughing There were comments from some players in the background, couldn't really make out. I think they probably, you can find in articles who it was by now, but you hear one player say a 2 for 2. So kind of pointing out to the fact that, giving credit to, women's hockey. And by the way, just history alone, the United States women's hockey team has been easily more successful than the men's, and overall in the Olympics this year. I mean, you had more Olympic golds won by women than you did men, representing the United States. So where is the celebration for them? Kudos to Flavor Flav, of all people, coming to and making the heroic gesture of inviting the United States women's hockey team to I forget where. I think he said I think they said Atlanta. Actually, wherever it is, the gathering is. The United States women's hockey team accepted the invite because they declined the invite to the White House, the reluctant invite by Donald Trump and the White House, and rightfully so. Not all men's players ended up attending the invite to the White House as well. Kudos to those that didn't go. I understand the desire to want to go, to want to be there. The Hughes brothers, the Kachucks, under fire for it. I'm going to also play a clip from the Hughes brothers' mother, who was a part of that United States women's hockey team, who essentially came to the defense of her sons and, in typical mom fashion, and just tried to make a unifying statement while kind of disregarding the whole thing. So let me play this clip for you. It's a little bit quick, but I'm going to play what they have else for you after the initial statement by Trump, and just kind of give you a little breakdown of what's been going on. So here's that.
Women's team, you do know that.
Absolutely. U.S. President Donald Trump joked at the women's expense as the men laughed along.
I just thought the joke was distasteful and unfortunate. Now I have to sort of sit, and anybody has to sit in front of you and explain someone else's behavior. It's not my responsibility.
The men are also facing questions about their response to that locker room call.
Why would you laugh when they got invited?
I mean, I don't really have an answer. Honestly, it was just a whirlwind of a moment.
Certainly sorry for how we responded to it in that moment. Things that just happened really quick there.
It's unfortunate that, that kind of occurred. We have nothing but love and respect for the women's team.
This is definitely a dark cloud, and it's unfortunate.
Jody Vance was the first woman in Canada to host a TV sports show in primetime. She's hopeful all of this will ultimately build momentum for women's sport.
I like it being in the conversation that things have to change. We thought they'd changed more than they have, and I think that's where the disappointment lies.
As the Olympians head back to home ice, that disappointment is felt by some local fans too.
We have little girls that see that, and we have little boys that see that, and they're taught to just go along with it.
As the women they look up to carve a path forward, they have a message for young hockey hopefuls.
We need to stay positive. We need to stay strong together. We need to focus on the right things.
Their voice is being amplified now more than ever. A silver lining to a gold controversy.
Shout out to CBC News, for that video right there. You hear the comments early from Trump, the joke. And again, the nervous laughter from some, or just, the kind of knee-jerk reaction. I'll play another clip again of the Hughes brothers' mother. And, you hear Hillary Knight's, comments on the whole situation as well. Listen, it's nobody's job to apologize for this man. You know what I'm saying? He said what he said. He's the nation's leader. He himself has to hold himself accountable for that. There's no foregone apology. You hear a lot of rhetoric online, a lot of discourse that, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a lot of misogyny. That's what it is. It's this toxic masculinity that we see in our society over and over and over again. And truthfully, it's just disgusting. When, especially coming from an administration that, claims that they're here to promote, women's sports and do the best by women's sports, especially when it comes to the whole trans agenda and the Trump administration, taking trans men, women, whatever, out of women's sports. And while I understand that the desire to do that because of genetic reasons and genetic advantage, whatever it is, the rhetoric around the scenario is truly what is a problem, and this perpetuates that even more. Okay, I mean, just why can't we just celebrate? Why is there, you should actually be wanting to invite the women to the White House. Why is it the only men? It forever has that feeling that just men are superior than women, and it's simply not the case. I just, we're equals in so many ways, but yet it's like this egotistical thing of just we have to be, better, bigger, we're stronger, and all this, and like, what the hell, man? I don't get it, And for all the little girls out there, watching, growing up, playing youth hockey, whatever, like, how does this make them feel, man? And then yet the women are told, oh, stop complaining, it's just a joke, yada yada, playing it off as if it's no big deal, because that's always the agenda, right? That's always the freaking story behind that. Let's excuse your rude behavior, for just playful banter. God forbid you just hold yourself accountable and after, making a shitty statement, and further denigrating, women and the history and then their role in, society. At that point, why do they even play the games? This year, you're seeing a big boom in women's hockey, women's sports. Basketball is probably at its biggest ever with, women's. You're seeing professional baseball for the first time later this summer. Now, there's even more news recently because ESPN is taking away Sunday Night Baseball and replacing it with an all-women's sports block. And we'll see how it does by the numbers. But I think this is a great opportunity for women's sports. I think it's groundbreaking. As much as I love my Sunday Night Baseball, and there still will be Sunday Night Baseball. It may not be on ESPN, but there will be. I believe, another network's going to pick it up. Whether it's Fox, CBS, the whole nine, so you can still choose to watch your Sunday Night Baseball if you don't want to, participate in watching the women's sports. But, overall, there needs to be more support in that area. And again, going back to the opening monologue of just how is it that the person that we appointed to run this country is the one that's making these remarks. It's just not presidential, I mean, majority of the things this man says is not presidential, I mean, even George W. Bush, was more well-spoken than this guy. It's truly mind-boggling how he gets away with it. Not to mention, still, no investigations with the Epstein files. Everything pointing towards Trump being a pedophile. And you got this, he just continues to do things like this and make the headlines that he makes. By the way, just a side note, didn't see Mamdani and Trump being, buddy buddy. Didn't have that on my bingo card for 2026. Zohran Mamdani seems to have figured out the Trump code, and he's playing into his ego to get what he wants. And it seems to be working. I don't know if you heard, but recently, college student was detained by ICE, and Zohran, was in person in the White House, and he briefed Trump on what was going on. Not only was she, this young lady, detained, but a couple other students as well. But in particularly, this girl made the headline news, and Zohran wasn't having any of it. Asked Trump to release her, and within a day, released of custody and just let free to go. A lot of speculation as to why. Very pretty girl, gotta say. All right, very pretty girl. And I seen a video online. I forget the guy's name from Barstool, Kevin. I believe he posted a funny video about it, and how somebody slipped this girl's photo across Trump's desk, and was like, he was like, oh no, yeah, we can let her go. And I could almost see that being the case, honestly. But it's just kind of crazy how easy it is to just, immediately, get her, released, amidst everybody that's being detained unlawfully and all these situations. And, you just don't, you hear these stories about not hearing from and all that. But tough stuff. Let me pull up here, because I also have a guest getting ready to come on here. So my boy he's been a guest speaker on the show before. He's coming on the show. He's got a hot take about the NBA. Want to hear about that? And I'm sure he'll actually have some comments about this whole situation as well. But I wanted to play that clip for you. This is the Hughes brothers' mom responding to the video controversy from Trump.
About the country and the moment that these players, both the men and women, can bring so much unity to a group and to a country. People that cheered on that don't watch hockey, people that have politics on one side or on the other side. And that's all both the men's team and the women's team care about. If you could see what we see from the inside, and the men and women sharing, dorm rooms and halls and flex floors, and the camaraderie and the synergy, and the way the women cheered on the men and the way the men cheered on the women. Yeah. That's what it's all about. And the other things they cannot control. They care about humanity, they care about unity, and they care about the country. I hope everybody just understands what we did in the moment, both the men and the women, to bring this country together and let everybody cheer in the same direction. Well, I think at the end of the day, it's just about the country and the moment that these players, both the men and women, can bring so much unity to a group and to a country. People that cheered on that don't watch hockey, people that have politics on one side or on the other side. And that's all both the men's team and the women's team care about. If you could see what we see from the inside, and the men and women sharing, dorm rooms and halls and flex floors, and the camaraderie.
Thank you for joining me, bro.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. After a good workout Friday night, dude, finding parking in the snow is a little bit hard. So it took me a while. After I left my spot, I'm like, oh, I'll just wait until Matt calls me back, and then I'm like, all right, let me find some parking. It's a lot of slow still.
Yeah, it's not too bad though, honestly. Like compared to the last one, it's like this snow didn't melt because the temperatures got up quickly, after the snowstorm. So like it just didn't linger, as much I mean, it snowed less in the last one. Like we got like 8 to 10 inches, right? But this one, I counted 20 inches in my backyard. Yet it seemed like it was gone in a matter of a couple of days.
For sure. But I kind of had fun, man. I ran outside a couple times.
Yeah, I mean, I love the snow, so I know everybody like hates it and hates commuting and all that, but you just gotta kind of embrace it. I know it gets ugly here, like compared to like upstate or whatever, but it just turns brown and or black, and it's not like necessarily aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, 100%.
But
Yeah.
I don't know, and me having the kids, you kind of embrace it that way too. It makes you feel like a kid, you go out there and play. But you're right though. So I mean, I don't know. I know guys out there running during the snowstorm or like the day after, like when there's like mad snow on the street. I mean, it's tough to do that. Like, so I've done it.
I did. That Sunday I ran and I even fell, but the snow was fluffy, so nothing happened.
Yeah.
But it was tough. Like running a mile in the snow is tough.
No, it's not like the greatest. Like you don't over glorify it. If you can run,
not running for performance. Yeah.
Right. If you can run it on the treadmill or inside, whatever, inside indoors, that'd be preferable. But anyway, I before you came on, I was playing, did an opening monologue about the whole Olympic controversy with Trump calling in to the U.S. men's hockey team and everything that surrounded that. I was just playing, I played the clip a couple of times of the Hughes brothers' mom responding to Trump's comments. And, it was just, her trying to unify everybody and kind of talking down the whole situation and, not trying to make it political. She's being a typical mom, being a typical mom.
It was so overblown. I mean, definitely weird that Kash Patel was there. And dude, Trump is an idiot. All right, like he's a fool.
Well, yes,
like, dude,
exactly.
but and then you had to have Jack Hughes, dude. Jack Hughes is 24. They made him the spokesperson of all this. Come on.
Well, I mean, he was right there, front and center, right in the video. And again, the way I kind of, and I'm not excusing it because he ended up going to White House along with his brother, and my thoughts on this whole administration is, and I personally would have not have gone, and we've come to know that a couple of players ended up not going. We know the women's hockey team completely declined the invite. The reluctant invite from Trump, which is just disgusting, by the way. And that was part of my opening monologue. Like the fact that like you're throwing a joke at it. I get it's that locker room, men talk, but it's just inexcusable, especially on that type of stage or if ever. And I don't with Trump, it's true. It's believe like he feels that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I just don't understand why we can't celebrate the women like we do the men. Is there some sort of superiority going on there? There always has been, men over women. I just, it's overall disgusting. Is it, to your point, is it Jack Hughes' responsibility to be the spokesperson of all this? And absolutely not. And I think, expecting them in that moment to kind of like turn that page and say something right there live, like that's, I mean, yeah, sure, you could do it. I know there was like some whispers in the background of like guys saying things, and probably the ones that ended up not going to the White House.
I know, I heard that. I heard those whispers. Yeah,
right.
I did, but then it got overshadowed by the laughs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, again, I don't know. I can't really say like, in that moment how I would, am I just going to call the president out right then and there? You know what I'm saying? That's a weird spot, man. That's a weird spot.
Yeah. No, there's no time to call out, hey, it's just, no, the day moves on. I know what you mean. It's just, there's only so many seconds in a moment.
Right. And then that's kind of crazy. Like I almost feel bad for the players because it put them in a spot like, oh shit, did we like, kind of just like laugh that off or correct that? Like, oh, listen, I'm sure one or two guys probably, feel that way or laugh, but not really though. Like, as you could tell from the Hughes brothers' mom, these people were close. They spend so much time together throughout the Olympics. They know each other. They walk down the same hallways. They work out together. So it's like I'm sure there's a lot of support between the two teams and things like that, and other Olympic athletes. It has to be. I never heard stories.
And one more thing, back to the women's team.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did they not go because of nobility, or did they not go because they gotta they're college students? They gotta go back to classes. That's really it.
There was some speculation on that. They didn't have enough time, whatever, things like that. I'm sure if they wanted to go, they would go. They're making themselves available for the party that, of all people, Flavor Flav is offering to them, and so they're all attending that. You know what I'm saying?
All
so
right.
again, I'm sure. Yes, maybe they couldn't make the State of the Union or whatever, but even then, I'm okay. So reschedule them. You the White House, the Trump. Give them the proper courting. By the way, I don't know. Maybe nowadays you don't really know. You can't always trust everything you see online. But I came across it, and if it looked like it was real, because I'm like, it could be AI. I have no idea, but I don't remember who was reporting it at the time. But the men's players that did end up going, did you know what type of food Trump had catered for them?
No, McDonald's.
That's ridiculous, man. I know.
So Trump does that all the time. Whenever
I
there's
know. It's so weird.
It's weird, dude. He's a clown, man. Like it just got to the point, and aside from the actual atrocity of this administration, it's got to the point whatever Trump says is not even hurt. Like, he's just a clown, dude. He's just a clown.
Yeah. I know. I'm sorry, man. I'm with you.
He's
and
a clown.
I'm listen, you guys can, I try not to get too political, but it's like, how could you not in a time like this? Is definitely a situation in which sports and politics, unfortunately, intertwine, and it's just again, like, it's not, to me, that's not a nation's leader, man. It's not,
and listen, I'm not, by the way, are we live on the show?
Of course we are. You think we're just chatting away, maybe? Did you forget?
No, this is good. No, this is good. I'm glad. So how about this, man? How about this? Franklin D. Roosevelt is considered one of America's greatest presidents of all time. Definitely top 3. Franklin D. Roosevelt, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln. Right. Okay. So Franklin D. Roosevelt, he's considered an American hero. Yet when Jesse Owens won the Olympics, FDR did not invite him into the White House. He didn't. He refused to shake his hands with a black athlete.
Sign of the times, for sure.
For sure. I mean, I think that's atrocious, right?
That is atrocious, no doubt about it.
I'm not going to go back to colonial times. But, dude, 1945, right? My grandma was alive in 1945, That was a newspaper thing, you know what I mean? Like, Franklin D. Roosevelt did not want Jesse Owens, But, again, I'm not going to name any names, but somebody in Germany actually shook his hand,
I mean, in retrospect, looking back, I don't know if Trump's offense is as terrible, but, when we look at all the other atrocities at hand, kind of outweighs that a little bit. But, I mean, that's just blatant racism.
I like FDR, by the way. I think FDR, but again,
I mean, sure.
In internment camps,
Yeah, I guess you can't like everything about him.
I think you and I both know, Matt. Listen, I love America. I know you love America. It's a dark country, man. It's a country with dark history.
Yeah. No, it is, and that's why I love the Olympics, because it's really a time in which you try to unify, and you try to be a patriot about your country, and politics aside, things like that. I hear a lot of, oh, how could you root for the United States team and yet not support this administration, things like that, or side with certain politics. I really do think like it's separate. I really do. I can still be prideful of watching these Olympic athletes perform, and not agree with the politics of my country and all that.
I think it's two different
I think
things.
that gets lost sometimes with some people, and it's unfortunate. And man, I don't know. I just wanted to open up the show with that because, the Olympics were great. It was great. It was fun.
Excellent Olympic.
I will say it does sour me a little bit on the men's win, in the aftermath of all of it. I mean, looking back in the history, we'll always look at it like, first time since 1980, phenomenal win, great game, whole nine. Great Olympics, really. So a lot of these games were just, really, cutthroat, close, overtime, and then,
Really great Olympic.
on the other hand, the women's hockey team just absolutely dominated, until Canada, which, again, overtime finish, right? So, it was a hell of an Olympics all around.
Even the curling was great. I was tuning in.
Curling, snowboarding, I was into,
yeah.
the downhill skiing, bobsledding, love the bobsledding,
And the skeleton.
little history with the cross country skiing with a Haitian athlete, competing for the first time in that event, just, really like a cool running, Jamaican moment, Jamaican bobsled moment.
Great movie. I kind of want to watch it again.
It was really one of those types of moments. It's all, especially my co-host being Haitian. It was, really, nice to see that. It was just a lot of good stories all around. And a good host city at that. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the potential World Cup coming up and all the politics that are associated with that. I'm hearing a lot of international people talking about boycotting it, not wanting to travel towards it, because it's being hosted here. Yeah,
I was gonna say this. So what a year, brother! Let's put it into perspective. We got the Winter Olympics, the World Baseball Classic,
and which is about to begin. Yeah, World Cup, and then what? You got international soccer going on right now. What's the tournament that's about to kick off right now? Is it UEFA? Or
So yeah, right. I mean the brackets, right?
Yeah. They're about to kick off, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like the brackets, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot, I mean, it's crazy sports time, right now. You got obviously baseball around the corner, after, the classic. So it's, we got basketball heading into the playoffs. I mean, everything's, basketball and hockey. It's just craziness. Golf's about to be back.
You say what was the last part?
Oh, no, I'm saying golf's about to, golf starting up again as well.
I know you mentioned the World Cup. So Mexico right now with after the murder of the drug lord.
Yes.
That they're thinking a lot of folks in Mexico, they're selling their tickets, right? So I know there's chirp about Mexico. And listen, I've been to Mexico, great country, great people.
Yeah.
I've been to Mexico City specifically, and you can't have a North American World Cup without Mexico.
Yeah.
I would like Mexico to solve their issues, right? That's number one. Number two, boycotting like the USA. I don't think that's gonna the infrastructure is already set in place for the World Cup here.
Yeah, I mean, but will people want to travel, especially with the immigration issues that going on? I mean, of course they want to support their teams and their country, but it's a very touchy subject. You don't, I'm sure ICE is going to have a heavy presence around these events. Ticket prices are just through the roof. There's some controversy about that. My co-host actually sent me something how they're charging like astronomical amounts for like disabled parking or just general parking, things like that. There's a lot of stuff going behind the scenes of it. I don't like the finals venue in MetLife. I think it's terrible. I know from firsthand it's not a good experience. I don't think it's very capable of hosting this type of event.
Hot take. That's a strong take, right?
I don't think that's a hot take, bro. Like pretty much everybody that goes to football games there, hates it. Leaving that parking lot is terrible.
It's terrible, dude. Getting out there,
yeah, the building itself is just not, like modernized. It's not, very up to date and futuristic to what other, stadiums are doing. Especially, internationally. Forget about it.
I was driving by there like when I went to American Dream the other day, and you just see it. It's like it's an ugly block. It's like it's
not good. There's also whenever they host these events, there's these outdoor like watch party areas, and apparently there's a lot of issues with that, and in terms of the planning and The infrastructure, essentially, they're saying it's going to get ugly. They're not quite ready for it. And then, that's if, people actually, show up for it, internationally, coming, and traveling for it. I'm sure there's going to be a wide fan base, that travels within the states. Somebody's got to go to these games. I mean, the tickets are bought. I don't know if it's just people trying to resell, because if you look at the secondary market now, I mean, the price is just absurd.
I know,
Especially
chatting
for
about
the final.
Yeah, I mean, I know somebody's going to Texas, going to Philly. I think I'm safest bet is to catch a game in Philly, right?
Probably, yeah. That's definitely, if you're looking for cheaper tickets, hell yeah. I mean, that's generally the way to go. Especially when it comes down to, like, basketball. Like, I've gone to Philly just for basketball, instead of going to the Garden, because it's just way too expensive. Like,
I hear you. No,
so
I certainly hear you. So,
that is the way to go.
And also, I mean, it's a thing just to add there is good. It's America's 250th birthday right in the middle of the World Cup. So imagine July 4th, USA versus England.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the chances of those two teams making it, like that'd be, I mean, England, yes. Yeah, USA.
Well, no,
Yeah.
that would be it would be a round of 16 matches.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, all right. There's still a lot of faith in USA, I would think. Yeah. I mean, it's not impossible,
The USA is a round of 16 team.
They
To
could.
think.
Yeah.
So to think, I know that USA we get we get criticized a lot for our US men's soccer team.
Yeah.
But we rank right there with Mexico. We're always 16th, 17th with Mexico. We're not a bad team.
They've certainly gotten better over the years. I'm not, but I do believe they are the type of team to have an early exit, potentially.
Yeah.
Could they make it round to 16? Yes, no doubt. I'm not saying they can't there. I just, I think there's that potential of, an early exit for them. But, I mean, for the sake, I hope not, but it's just, I don't know, man. I personally, with the politics that are going on, I'm conflicted. It's like, do you support it? But I guess you could kind of say the same for the Olympics or just any sport in general. Like, I don't know, man. It's weird to me with this whole immigration thing, and then you look at the NBA, and the best players in the NBA are not from this country. You got Jokic, you got Wemby. Like it's crazy, and yet they're constantly celebrated. It's just a weird, like, hypocritical feeling for me. Like, and just I don't know, man.
Emphasize on that. What do you mean by that part?
It's just like like how immigrants are being looked at and or treated, by this administration, and how it's just ignored when they're of a certain stature. They're an actor, musician, athlete.
So I want to add on that, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. All right, I don't think Jokic, Victor Wembanyama are being treated unfairly. I don't think so, man. Right?
Not unfair. I never said they were being treated unfairly.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean in terms of, like, the optics, right? Like optically, right? I think, So, all right, like this is not me. I'm not picking a side or anything, right? I know the whole topic of immigration. You hear it in every Fox News, CNN, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Again, I'm not saying this is what I think. We need to be more. Not you and I think, and I'm trying to pick my words wisely.
Mm-hmm.
America's always been a country of immigration. That shouldn't be a hot take at all. It always has been.
Yeah.
But America has an unregulated immigration crisis. Both can be true, right? Both can be very true. I think there's an issue with the border, right? I think every country should have border security. I don't think that should be a hot take. But now,
we've talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah. But now, let's say, I don't care if you're undocumented or documented. If you are positively contributing to this country, there should be a framework. There should be a framework around, all right, let's try to grant these folks residency. Like, I don't think what I'm saying.
I mean, but that's proven that is simply not the case, right now with this administration. They don't really care about that anymore.
It ever will be, because that's what you need. Politicians need to fight over something.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Why it's got to come at the hands of innocent immigrants who are just trying to make a living and do their thing. I don't know. But again, the hypocrisy in it is that, well, okay, you have immigrants at that level where, they're athletes, actors, whatever it is. And, why are none of them being bothered? Why are none of them, being detained, unlawfully, things like that?
Well, because I mean, no, the
I
answer
know why.
citizen.
You know, it's a rhetorical question. You know what I mean? It's just it's. I'm pointing out the hypocrisy of it all. And it's just it's conflicting. It's the same reason why I look at it like the World Cup or Olympics, anything like should I boycott it? Should I not? Like, especially me being hosting a sports talk show and all that. It's like where it requires me to actually watch these things. It's just a weird space to be while I'm morally balancing my psyche.
No, and I think this is what I think. I think we all have a right to be patriotic while
Mm.
also acknowledging and acknowledging the wrongdoings of this administration, criticizing the administration, and also empathizing with folks that are disadvantaged right now.
Yes.
I think all four could be done, right?
Sure. Yeah.
I
It's
think so, right?
complicated, right? Yeah. But
And,
yes.
and I think I think like listen, I like in my house where my family lived, my house in Ditmars,
Mm.
probably my neighbor's house, not to be too obnoxious, we have an American flag in the front. All right, that's it.
So you're
On
one of
4th of
those
July, you're not gonna
families, all
see me with a whole.
right?
What do you say?
I said you're one of those families, huh? No, no, no.
A little bit, a little.
I mean, listen, you're my friend. I know where you stand, and you've clearly laid that out here for us to hear, for all of us to hear, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with waving the flag. When I go to a ball game, I take the cap off and hold it to the end. Again, because I like to be patriotic in my country, but for what it is I stand for and what I or how I believe it should be. You know what I'm saying? And, it doesn't necessarily mean I agree with the politics and the things that are going on. Yes, is it complicated separating that and understanding that? Sure, it is. It is.
Yeah.
It's like being in that complicated relationship. You're not quite sure.
Yeah, no.
But I will say this though. Sometimes the especially I don't know if you've ever felt this. Being a person of color, but I certainly have experienced it with my wife over the years now, where we have driven into a certain area with one too many American flags, and kind of have felt a bit uncomfortable. So it's not always a sign of a good patriotism and a welcoming environment. This
I know what you mean. You want to hear a funny story?
Yeah. Would
All right,
love
I'll
to.
tell you a funny story. one of my coworkers who and this is a good story. This is cool. It's all good, right?
Mm.
I was talking to one of my coworkers. She's white, by the way.
Okay.
Great girl. I like her and all that. Every week that passes, we get to know each other better. Mind you, I'm her supervisor, right?
Okay.
And I'm her supervisor. And I was just mentioning to her, and I told her, I'm Latino, I'm Hispanic, and I used the word. I said technically, well, not technically. I told her I'm technically a person of color. And then she was like, wait, what? You're a person of color?
Not
No,
technically,
no way.
you are.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, yes I am. Well, what? That's not something I hide. And then she goes, I don't know. You don't like. And
I don't know.
That's what she said.
It's pretty
She
funny,
was like,
actually.
I don't know. You don't have a person of color face, whatever that means.
Really? Okay, I would love to dive into that. Because,
Well,
like,
I don't know,
what
now
the,
you're distant.
what does that mean?
Yeah. Okay. So you would think this. I'm a pretty cool manager, and she's a friend. I'm not gonna. That's not an HR violation. Now, what does that mean, right?
Oh man.
Usually, you again. This is a safe space, right?
Uh-huh.
When Fox News puts a picture of a person of color, it's a MS-13 gang member, right or wrong, right?
Yes.
There you go. So Fox News, they have for the past 30, 40 years, they've manipulated the audience to think, this is how an undocumented person of color looks. The facial features, the this, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, talk
So
about being disenfranchised. Shit. Yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean. So it's so I get that because I'm not indigenous, right? So it's like,
Mhm.
all right, so I get that, right? So notice how the media has manipulated a population of people to think, you know what I mean, like the certain profile, right? You get me?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
I mean, listen, Armenians are technically people of color, but they
Hmm.
don't get treated a certain way, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's
Armenians
that
aren't
that
white,
that
or
color of
I
skin,
mean,
I suppose. Sure.
yeah, I mean Kim Kardashian is Armenian, by the way.
Is she really? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they're of Armenian descent. Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. There you go. Right. Exactly. I mean, Cubans. I mean, Marco Rubio. He's Secretary of State. He's not.
Mm.
He doesn't get. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. I don't. Even I, not knowing that, wouldn't think that. Does that make me a person of color? I don't know. Italian, Puerto Rican, Cuban, heritage.
So
I don't.
so back in the 1920s, Italians were not considered white. Look at that.
Right, right. That is very true, and they
Yeah.
seem to forget that nowadays.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for
They
sure.
seem to forget that. It's weird for the Italian Americans right now, man. They seem to have switched that side, and then like you
Yeah.
just pointed out, they seem to forget that a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, sure. And listen, I will say to end it here, and
Yeah.
she said that, and I laughed, whatever, right? Like we laughed. I'm like, thank you. So let me educate you a little bit. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I think we all have an opportunity to get educated. But I will say, Matt, I think I've told you, I've been to over 30 states.
Yeah.
Dude, I've been treated pretty nicely in all states, man.
Yeah.
I would say I grew up in the suburbs of Florida in the summers. Yeah, man. I'm not saying I'm not catering to I'm not pandering to any one side here. I've been pretty cool, man. I have no complaints, but I'm
Yeah.
aware. I'm aware that
Right.
in any certain time of history, to get where I'm at today, it was a fight. That's all I'm saying.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, you certainly are well equipped to blend in any kind of given environment. And I know that I see I know your travels, and you've definitely been all over the place, and you put yourself out there, and whether it is the color of the skin, whatever it is, just your face, I don't know, like clearly your coworker of yours, but you have that face that kind of works in that scenario, which is
I'll take
interesting.
it. I'll take.
Sure, right? I mean, it
I'll take.
certainly works for me, and although I don't, you know, I'm not going to complain about it, but I still understand, and it's weird, it's interesting for me, not weird, it's interesting for me now to see it because I see the other side of the coin with my wife, and now I experienced that myself. I mean, we were just, um, I'm not going to name the town, but we were in an area in the Adirondacks. We go to a restaurant, and we got looks immediately, and it wasn't the welcoming kind, and it almost we almost thought for a second that we actually weren't going to be served. We do believe that a certain waiter did not want to serve us.
No
So
way. Really?
yeah,
I,
yeah,
I like
sadly.
no, I believe, of course, but damn, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah, I know, and it it's just not something I'm accustomed to. Unfortunately, my wife has experienced it before, and yeah, that shit still exists, and I think it's a little bit more in your face nowadays, especially with where you go, But it's hard, my wife, she's Chinese, it's there's you look at her and you see that she's Chinese. There's no hiding that.
And
It's a
only,
beautiful
one of the most
thing.
harmless people I know.
Well, right, yeah, sure. It's she's not in any way, shape, form, but it doesn't matter, right? Yeah, it is what it is. It's not great, but a lot of times we, have to cater to that still, which is unfortunate, and it was probably at its worst during the pandemic because of COVID and all that, and the link to the Chinese, and it was really bad back then. I remember her mother-in-law's business was what do you call it, like defaced. Somebody had graffitied it up, and smashing in doors and shit. Like it was just bad stuff all around. So thankfully it's a little bit different now, but still ever more present. But yeah, man. Listen, we could go on forever about this. I did have a reason to bring you on outside of all this conversation, but I do love the discourse. And you and me would talk all the time privately about this type of stuff. So
all the time.
It's it's good. It's good to finally get behind the camera and do it with you. But I did want to let you give the people your hot take about the NBA and the state of the NBA, apparently, and talk a little bit about that. So, and we could transition into the Knicks and everything that's going on.
And I spoke about it with other buddies of mine about the state of the NBA. So listen, I mean, not an hyperbole. Right now, I think, what do you say? Obviously, in American sports, it's NFL number 1 in terms of viewership, MLB number 2, and NBA number 3, and hockey NHL number 4, right?
I think you're forgetting soccer. I think it's got to be up there. I don't know, man.
I think MLS is a distant fifth from NHL, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking just American viewership, but like, a lot of American TVs are eyed on international soccer, so I think that plays into that too. But, where did you rank golf on that? Did you say golf? Because golf
I didn't say golf. I like the team.
Yeah,
the team.
golf is up there, bro. Golf might be higher than hockey.
Okay, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I meant team sports, like the 4 major leagues.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's an association, not a league, technically. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah, and then with the split,
It's a membership.
Live Golf and all that. Yeah. Well, okay, I hear you.
Yeah. So my thing is this, and also I was going back and forth about this, and dude, I've been going back, with Clark, with Eddie. I'm trying to get him on the show. We should do something with the boys, right?
Yeah.
But the NBA, I think the NBA is it's a strong word, but I think it's a bit in trouble, man. I don't know. I've been watching the NBA since I was in single digits, right? And brother, like the other night, all right, last weekend, I was watching the Knicks versus the Houston Rockets. Okay, bro, background TV. The first 43 minutes, Knicks were down 18 points. I was looking, I'm like, all right, whatever, not the best game. And then the last 5 minutes, from minute 43 to minute 48, Knicks won the game. That was it, right?
Right.
Amazing. I feel like the first 43 minutes of a basketball game don't matter. Like they once did. They just generally do not matter. They don't play hard. They don't play defense. They just shoot threes. Whatever. That's the state of the game. But it's the last 5 minutes that matter. Like that they just count, right? That's number one. I think NBA. I mean, even Adam Silver said it himself. During the preseason, that with all these streaming services and different types of subscriptions, that a yearly, if you're to subscribe to all packages, it'll cost $600 a year. And, average people just can't afford that. Or it's like, bro, come on, no one's going to pay $600 a year to catch every NBA package. So then Adam Silver says, all right, just catch the highlights. Bro, because NBA has become a highlight reel, to be honest with you.
Yes.
Dude, yeah. I'm going to get home, drink some chocolate, and I'm just tune into Sports Center and watch the highlights.
I love that. That's your beverage of choice. You do a little just is it hot chocolate? What do you got? You you slamming cold chocolate milk every night?
Not every night, but like Friday night, it seems like it just came out. I do it a couple times a week. Yeah.
All right. No, I don't drink milk like that or anything. So I love that. That's awesome.
You don't drink milk at all?
No. Like,
whoa, since when?
Yeah, long time now actually. Like very rarely, like I'll have a bowl of cereal and put a little milk in there. I generally don't eat cereal like that anymore.
Okay.
I'm a very like eggs breakfast type person. Eggs and toast and all that. Coffee generally drink it black. I have been more with the milk again, but like I try to really stay away from it. And yeah, I used to drink glasses of milk growing up, like all the time. You know,
I like
but I stopped at some point. I think probably during high school, I would say that I stopped. Yeah, yeah. It's just interesting to me. It also, doesn't sit well with the stomach, whole nine. That's all. I don't
All right.
want to
All
get
right.
grotesque there either. So,
I hear you.
yeah,
I hear you.
I
And
guess
I think
that plays a role in all of it.
aren't we the only species, us humans, that drink milk of another species, which is
Yes.
cows?
Yeah, we're not. Our bodies are truly not meant to drink it, but we could do without it. It's
I
not.
know. No,
Yeah,
no, I'm aware.
yeah.
I'm aware. Yeah.
I just want to comment on that because I found
Yeah,
it
no,
cute.
that's fine. That's fine. Back to the NBA. So, and I just think it's very gimmicky. Like, all right, the in-season tournament, dude, it's a gimmick. It's a gimmick. Come on, it's
I mean,
fun.
is it though? Like, what international soccer has in-season tournaments all the time. You guys love that shit.
Yeah, but you see, okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. All right, check it out. And I know you know this. The thing is with the soccer tournaments is they have a point system, right?
Yeah.
And so the winner of that point system, they're the champions of the league,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And then the tournament, they don't have for their league championship, they don't have a tournament style. They have
Yes.
a point system. So then they have a tournament knockout style for the tournament winner, right? So
Yes.
then what they do is the Super Cup. Each league has their respective Super Cup. The tournament's winner versus the points winner, right? And it's also a system that's been around for 100 years. I don't know if it's 100, maybe 80 years or whatever, but it has prestige to it, right?
Right.
So the thing is with the in-season tournament, the NBA championship and the first seeds supersede the winner of the in-season tournament, obviously. So it's empty. It's empty calorie.
It is. I mean, I like the fact there's a nice little prize pool to it, and
Yes.
definitely has made the players play.
Yeah.
Which is nice to see. I enjoy it. I don't know. It may not be for everybody, but it is a
And
nice
one,
little
I enjoy
start to the
it,
year.
right? And it's a
I
spectacle. It's cool. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
it's gimmicky.
Well, maybe not make it gimmicky. Maybe you tweak everything else, like you said, incentivize it. Let
How
actually
about this?
make
How
it
about the winner
have
of the How
yeah.
about the winner of the in-season tournament is the automatic first seed?
Yeah, see, like I'm down for that. Because
I get that.
because like whoever wins it is gonna be they may not be the best team, but they're definitely gonna be a good team. Definitely
Yeah.
a playoff team. So barring any catastrophic injury after the fact of actually winning it. But I'm down with that.
Yeah.
I'm down with that. Like, and because that would, forget about the money, the prize cash, to that, like the cash prize. That would really draw interest. It would keep that early part of the season super, tuned in. Because especially the viewership historically has never been great at this, maybe like the first week of the season, but it kind of tapers off quickly, and then picks up, as the season goes along.
Because of the NFL playoffs. I
Right,
get that.
and just generally how it goes. I mean, baseball, same thing. Opening week is good, and then all right, it's a long season. We'll tune back in. I don't start going till games till summertime. Generally, I like to go early. Opening day maybe. But outside of that, we'll tune in a little later.
The MLB, they have a monopoly of the summer. That's what makes
my co-host over here in the comments, Dub, he says, good idea. I like it. Make him a 1 seed. I agree. I think that's a great proposal. I'll give that to you. Incentivize it just like they do, the international football tournaments and all that, where it's impactful. It's meaningful. It makes you want to win. Again, clearly, a lot of these players showed that, especially the Knicks, wanting to win it for the other bench players to get that type of cash prize, that type of money that they wouldn't see otherwise. But I think it would draw a lot more interest. Another thing which I heard, it's not my original idea, but I did, hear this idea proposed, and you're seeing it in other leagues, especially with women's basketball during the All-Star break. We know the All-Star break has just been atrocious. I mean,
dude,
ever since Kobe left and all that, or ever since LeBron passed up Kobe in the All-Star game, it has never been the same since. Okay, never been the same since.
He passed the ball to Carmelo Anthony. Yeah,
that's right. He didn't want to. God forbid he go after him. You know, we want to see best players of the sport go at it, and God forbid. All right, cool. The little revamp that they did, I didn't watch it this year, but I heard about it. I heard about the format, seen some highlights. Apparently, it forced the players to play a little bit hard. I heard Wemby was, really dictating that level of play, but still not quite the same. And then the dunk contest is no longer what it used to be. Skills competition, whatever.
Matt McClung, but he didn't play this. He didn't perform during this last dunk contest, but he really did. Like, he was the talk of the town for a bit, Matt McClung.
But even then, yes, and McClung, he came out with a highlight video after this recent dunk contest and showed you what he would have done. And phenomenal stuff. He's probably one of the best dunkers in the nation, if not the best. Rivals Vince Carter, man, in his prime. Honestly, like, this guy is creative as hell. But
I'm a big Matt McClung. I'm a fan of his. Yeah,
but he's not, a mainstay NBA player. And I always as good as he is a dunker, and can he be serviceable in the NBA? No doubt. He's popped in and out from there to G League and, showed you signs. But he's not your everyday starter. Like, you want to see the guys, the best in the league, competing in those types of brackets. Even in 3-point contests, it's not always, the best player anymore. Although you see some good names. That's my favorite part of the All-Star competition. But you want to knock All-Star Weekend out the water, you could even erase all those competitions. Not that you need to, but just add one more. Or maybe get rid of the skills competition, because nobody really cares about that.
Yeah.
Get rid of the skills and implement a one-on-one little mini tournament.
I agree. I think that's fascinating.
I mean, tell me not, bro. The best is now. Again, it kind of requires, your top players to want to participate. I don't, and some may not want to.
Has to have a history of, like, the top players. They shy away from these things because of their egos.
Yeah, well, man, wouldn't that be something though?
It would be something.
Like Wemby and Jokic or something one-on-one, like, oh, man, yeah, baby, Anthony Edwards, whatever, going up against, a healthy Tatum or something, like.
Dude, it would be
oh,
sick.
man.
Absolutely.
Luka, LeBron, I don't even know, like,
For a week, that's Saturday, yeah.
It would be, and I also heard the theory that if they implemented that, that it would, like, shatter the rest of the regular season. Like, nobody would care anymore. It would be like, no, we just want to see players do that. So there's a caveat to that as well. It's like, because you're seeing it with these independent leagues, these one-on-one league, these like private, setups and that are going on, and then you're seeing it with the women's do it. I love it. I love watching the women's play one-on-one.
I think that would be great. I think that's a good idea. So things like that, right? And also, dude, the playoff play-in tournament? That's whack, bro. That's a gimmick. Another gimmick.
It's kind of like the wild card of the NBA, bro.
It is. So you would think. So here's the thing, dude. You already have 8 teams from each league making it. That's more than half the league. So then, and now, like, look at the data. You have the 7th seed versus the 10th seed. 8th seed versus the 9th seed, right? So got to look at the data. Has the 9th and 10th seed won yet?
No.
I don't think so.
No, they've. I think I forget the farthest they've been, but they kind of advanced a bit. But you're right. Like, the chances of them ever, unless it was a team that just was dealing with injury early on, and then got healthy at the right time and just ended up in a bad seed situation.
I'm sure you know this. Those stats don't even count for the postseason or regular season. They don't exist.
Right.
Come on, do better.
Yeah, things like that also don't kind of make sense. And the same thing with the tournament. It's like the NBA Cup. It's like, why does that final game not count? Like, you just statistically, like, that's weird. What if like guy does like history, like triple double, scores like 85, 80 points, like whatever.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
It's not going to count. essentially.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. When you start doing things like that, that just pisses me off. You know, it's just
Yeah.
too much. And yeah, I understand, man. I mean, listen, to be honest with you, I haven't watched a lot of NBA.
Yeah.
A part of it is my access to it. You know, I have Hulu Live TV. I don't have regular cable, so I don't get all the local Knicks games. I don't get it. If they're not playing nationally, I'm not watching.
Same.
Right. So there you go. Now that's okay. You know, like I'm okay with the highlight culture of it and catching up, and you know, it's fine. It fits my life perfectly as of right now. Like you know, even if I had 24/7 access, 365 access to it, I probably wouldn't watch every game either. And hey, could that be a sign of the times too? I don't. You know, like you said, this short form content, everything online, YouTube nowadays, man. You know, you can watch a full game in condensed 12-minute video. You know, it's not too bad. You know, like
we just have options. We've become a society of too many options.
Yeah, and that's a fortunate side effect. But to your point, you know, if the product is that enticing, it's good enough. You know, I tune into the NFL, and I'm not even watching the Jets. Like I don't care about watching the Jets, but I'll watch. Chiefs, Eagles, you know, whatever. You know, like I'm tuning in. You know, like that. You know, I'm there. You know, I'm behind that TV. It's weird. You know how that.
You know why?
It's a good product. You know.
NFL, man, dude, they own a day of the week.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, there's that. They only play a certain amount of games, right? It's only 18 games a year, and not including playoffs, you know. So it's
which they're exasperating it, you know, because now it's like, all right, Black Friday, Christmas Day, they're exasperating it. International games,
yeah,
you know, but
I'm still tuning into baseball too. Baseball gonna be on TV. It's weird, man. You know, I was watching a little basketball the other night, late at night. You know. Decided to tune in, you know, a game that otherwise I wouldn't really watch. So, you know, but again, yeah, the style of play is what deters you from it. It's not as intense as it used to be. The way these guys score nowadays, yeah, you're right. Like you know, otherwise, what a 20-point lead in the past is not necessarily a given. You would think that would make it more interesting because you would think, you know, okay, a lot more, you know, games, you know, technically are within reach, you know, but I guess it's the style of play that's not necessarily the prettiest to watch or the most exciting to watch.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, and but I will say the NBA playoffs. Yeah, I'm sure you know this stat. The NBA, they generate 2/3 of their revenue from the NBA playoffs. They know that.
Yeah. So
and the NBA playoffs is 2 months long. It's great, intense basketball.
So with that being said, would you know why not shorten the season then? You know, I mean it's been proposed. Why not do that?
But then 82 games. I mean, we're talking about TV revenue. We're talking about stadium revenue, right?
Yeah, I still think these sponsorships with the TVs and all these apps, things like that. You know, I'm sure they're still going to make their money. But you're right. You know, you're taking away from stadium revenue, and I'm sure that matters, especially to I would think the small market team as well as the big market teams. I mean, Knicks make a killing. And I think I don't know if you know about this, but I think publicly on the stock market they're looking to what the hell's going on outside my house? Fire trucks and everything. They're looking to separate the Knicks and Rangers, I believe, in terms of like stock investment and all that. It'll be a separate entity that you can invest in and publicly invest in just the teams outside of just MSG and all that. I don't know if you heard about that.
That's interesting because the Rangers and Knicks, they're under the MSG brand,
right?
But okay, check. Yeah, this is what I think though. So it's because MSG is also MSG Network, a TV channel, right? So they take into account that revenue plus stadium revenue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stadium, which includes Rangers and Knicks, right? So I get that's where the revenue is plugged in.
Yeah.
But, ooh, that's interesting because I don't know. Let's say if you spin out their sports, if you just spin it out and have like Rangers and Knicks, I don't know if that would fly by a CBA deal. I don't think so because then that would make Rangers and Knicks a publicly traded entity, which that's not. Yeah, oh, that's interesting. But wow.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely check into that. We could talk about that going forward. Yeah, because that's what I was hearing. You know,
But
I
also,
was
you know what
reading
was
an
also in
article.
the Sphere? I think they might spin off the Sphere as well.
Yeah, yeah.
That too. I was reading that too. But no, I mean, I don't think that would be allowed. Rangers and Knicks being a. I don't know. That's interesting. That's a good. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, my co-host was saying in the comments there that those guys don't want to go 1v1, and I don't think all of them too. I think certain players like LeBron probably would shy away from it if I had to guess.
Yeah.
You know, maybe
But I feel
because of his age, but I don't know. I'm sure there's players that would want to participate. You know, and really go hard at that.
Absolutely.
Especially guys, you know, little, you know, bench guys, anybody that, or like, you know, low level starters, you know, that are want to prove something and show you their real talent, you know. I think it would be a spectacle, you know.
Dude, I think so. Dude, to think like that 1v1 and that 1v1 would probably be equivalent to like the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I agree. You can make it a thing, man. I mean, but then again, like I said, there's that idea that, man, you show the public this, there'll be so much high interest that I don't think they'll want to watch anything else. They'll be like, nah, let's run that back. Let's just do this all the time. I'm sure the betting culture would go crazy over the 1v1 matchups with NBA
I think
All-Star.
so. Dude, I think so, man. I think I'm sure they're thinking about it in the league office, man, right? I'm sure they've thought about this.
It's got to, yeah, somebody had to propose this at this point, you know, especially when you're seeing other leagues do it, you know, so you're trying to find ways to make it more interesting. That would certainly, you know, spice up the All-Star weekend at least.
Yeah,
but overall with the regular season, I agree with you. I don't, another thing that really could change it is really, you know, unfortunately forcing these players to play. You know, this sit-out culture, this tank culture.
Yeah.
You know, guys used to play 82 games. You know, why don't we really see that anymore? You know, I know not everybody's, you know, Mikal Bridges, but like, we really need to see that more. You know, if you're available, play. I think that's why it takes away from it because, you know, nowadays on a Tuesday night, Wednesday night, so and so's sitting out. You know, like forget about it. It doesn't matter, and you're kind of saying to the rest of us, all right, these games don't really matter. Like I was telling you with the Knicks, you know, losing to Detroit. I'm like, bro, it don't matter anymore. You know, I understand the frustration, and I understand the public, you know, outcry against it, and
around by the Pistons, bro. Enough is enough.
I get it, and we're gonna have that discussion in a minute. But it's what I mean by that is just it's like at the end of the day, man. As long as they position themselves, you know, they have a shot at it. You know, it takes away unless they're, you know, they're dying for a playoff seed, and you know, with the play-in now, it's ever more easy to get in, like you pointed out earlier. It's taking more away. You know, if you want to make it more interesting, get rid of the play-in. But they like the play-in. They like the play-in. Because it's playoff intensity, but you know you're implementing the play-in because well now the regular season's not as interesting. You want more action playoffs, and you know it's like cause and effect. Well, all right, you don't enforce these guys to play all the time. You diminish the regular season game. Well, you know now we gotta figure out something to mitigate that, and it's like no, like just force the freaking guys to play. You know, I don't. There needs to be more strict rules on the injury protocols, things like that. Guys just sitting out on, stub toe. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and also, dude, the NBA, and I don't want to talk like this, dude. I'm no professional athlete, but I feel the NBA players compared to the other leagues, they're kind of soft, man.
No doubt about it. I mean, look at Jack Hughes, man. Gets knocked in, in Olympic hockey. If you guys not watching, gets hit with with the stick, tooth bleeding, the whole nine. Losing teeth, just gaping hole, cracked, whatever. Like guys bleeding, no problem. Even after the game was over, just blood. I'm going back. Not even a problem. I'm out there. We've seen guys in hockey literally die, go into cardiac arrest, and want to come out for the next period. I mean, that is not a joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
Broken arms, this and that. Like, what are we doing? The Olympic skater. Not Olympic skater. Was it Lindsey Vonn? The downhill skier. She tore the what was it? Her ACL, I believe it was.
Yeah,
and,
that was.
Has surgery and competes. Obviously wearing a brace, the whole nine. She's able to do it. It ended up in tragedy anyway for her. Immediately as she goes, for her first time since the surgery, she ends up shattering her leg, and falling. Just a bad fall, getting helicoptered out of there. Just a whole bad situation, and shout out to her and hopefully a speedy recovery. And that's the end of her career as well, because this was really it for her. She was retiring her anyway. But you see that, like, just the level of competitors. Anthony Davis would never.
Never, dude.
Would never.
You saw that he got bumped. Yeah.
And this is what it is, and it just wasn't that way back in the day. Now was it because of the money that they were making, this and that? Even the top players back in the Kobe, man, tore his Achilles, went back out there and was playing. You're making his free throws. Like, come on, dude. Like,
Agreed.
I'm not. There's a certain level to that where, man, I'm not saying tear your Achilles and go play basketball. No, that's not that. That's just how crazy Kobe was. But
you just can't move your foot.
Right. And it's not practical anyway, right? But you make a free throw, okay. But like we gotta fight through some of that. You gotta really, if you can play, maybe you're not 100%, but you're 80%, okay. Get out there, play 20 minutes, play 25. The little boy that is sitting in the stands as, father, saved up all that money for just to go to that one game in the year, and, LeBron sitting down or whatever, like, that sucks, man. It does suck.
I know. You gotta play. You gotta play, man.
You gotta want to be out there. Otherwise, you have this. This is a byproduct of it, right? It's just viewership is going to be down because, hey, like you the player, you don't really care about it. All right, neither do I really. It's not as important. We'll reconvene come playoff time, and we'll watch the real basketball, because that's what it is. Like you said, the first 3 quarters, almost, it seems like in some of these games, guys are just chucking up shots. It's it's statistically not good to watch. It's not
basketball. So I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna do it. It's background TV. I'm gonna go on to do something else.
Yeah. No, you see that widespread. Listen, there's the shining moments. There's the guys that are worth watching, no doubt. And those are the stars of the game. But overall, the level of competitiveness is just down. And you see it. It's a stark contrast. And you see an NBA Cup, you see it come playoff time. It's a different product. It's not, a little bit in football where, playoff is just, it's a bit of a different game. But even that, like during those regular season games, they're going full throttle. Baseball, is just 24/7, man. 162 games a year. Those guys play.
It's a lot.
And I think it's the nature of the sport too. But those guys, they're not necessarily thrown away. We've seen a lot from baseball players. Got a little bit softer over the years, the baseball players. Certainly in football, not American football. Football. I don't know. Would you say that they've gotten a bit soft? At least Premier League, it's a bit. Yeah, it's probably the best product in terms of soccer, but
football, right? I mean, they flopping has always been part of their culture, man.
It has for sure, and it's a bit exacerbated now, but
Absolutely, absolutely. But yeah. I mean, there is softness to because bro, these people are getting paid. These athletes are getting paid so much money,
yeah,
so much money, guaranteed. Dude, they can kind of do whatever they want, man. To be honest with you, like, dude, if you're making 50 million a year, hey, on a given Tuesday, I don't want to sweat today.
yeah. I mean,
Like that.
I kind of do see that as a problem, though. You know, I mean, how could you not? You know, it shouldn't,
Yeah,
it necessarily should not be that way. You know,
shouldn't.
maybe restructure. You know, but it's gone too far in some of these leagues, like these. You know, now with the CBAs and all that. You know, these players' associations that it would never agree to taking away this flexibility in terms of these contracts and things. That's why we're
You know what
looking
else,
towards
Matt?
potential lockouts and shit like
Another
that.
important part, like with injuries, let's say you have to force these players to play, but then the science says that if you play too many games in a given span, then that's higher risk of injury. So, dude, last year, Damian Lillard torn Achilles, Jason Tatum torn Achilles, Tyrese Halliburton torn Achilles. The science shows that too many games, you might tear your Achilles or your ACL, right?
But is that because of the amount of games they're playing, or the way they train nowadays?
So, good question. I don't. That's where my expertise ends. I don't know. That's a good question,
I
right?
know, and I don't have the expertise to answer
Yeah.
that either. But I've certainly heard that proposal because it's weird. I seen a highlight video a while back of Mike Trout, and this is a guy that had extensive injuries, right? Just injury riddled career. One of the greatest athletes probably of all time, although you wouldn't really know it statistically because he just hasn't been available as much as he should have been.
I think Mike Trout's greatness has always been overrated.
It's been overrated because rightfully so, because he doesn't have statistics to back it up. He's been injured. He was never fully healthy. But to my point, there's a highlight video out there, like a workout video, not a highlight video, of him working out where he's doing this bizarre workout where he's doing like these jumping lunges with like a big a disc, like one of those discs you put on the bars, like as he's holding that, basically every time he jumps, it's like a 50-pound weight, and it's compressing his spine because it's on the back of his neck. Like,
okay,
in no way, shape, or form, like why you should just do like sled pushes or something like that. It's like there's other workouts to like get an appropriate pump in. Like and this coming from a guy that had back issues, right? And like all that, and spine, like, well, duh, and like it makes me think too, like, who the hell is allowing this guy to do this? You have all this knowledge and all this money and all these analytics and all the science behind everything. That can't be like recommended. That can't be something that's like, great for an athlete. It just it seemed very bizarre. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when you look at the injury history, it's like, oh, well, yeah, no shit.
So we'll say from 2012 to 2019, Mike Trout was very available. From 2020 and on, the second ladder of his career, he's been mostly injured. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I mean, but he's got some big numbers in there, man. He showed you his worth. He showed you. I mean, this. I go by the eye test too, bro. Like, this guy's phenomenal. One of the best swings of all time. Like it just.
He's a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer.
And all right, like, so there you go. He's a Hall of Famer in an injury-riddled career. So
yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. I just think
that's saying a lot.
They're trying to compare him to early on to Mickey Mantle, and one of the best, potentially the best player of all time.
I'm just saying as pure talent-wise, not best player statistically. Like pure talent-wise, he's certainly up there, man. Like, and it's sometimes that's hard, to compare and you see, but like, specimen wise, the body, the work, the body of work, like, it's just, I mean, if you want like an ideal build, that is it. Outside of the injury, history and all that.
I hear you.
That's all I'm saying.
I think the best player of all time, and I think he will be the best player of all time. It's Shohei Ohtani, man.
Well, we've talked about that before.
Yeah.
And I
Shohei
knew you
Ohtani.
were going there. I mean, and as of right now, I would agree with you. I mean, I don't really think it's much of an argument anymore,
Yeah.
Did you see the highlight video of him swinging away at Japan's practice? A little batting
Recently?
practice. Yeah. I think it was today, I believe. It was
I've
today.
not seen it, but
It was either today or yesterday. I could even pull it up for
dude,
everybody.
I like the guy, dude. I'm a big fan of Shohei Ohtani, man.
Yeah, despite the whole gambling situation that he probably should have been held accountable for, but wasn't.
Guys, he did it. He did it.
Yeah, he definitely, bro. He knew all about that. Don't even, man. I don't want to
Yeah.
hear it.
Oh yeah.
There's no way in hell there's transferring that much money and you don't know about it.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. This is and your best buddy long time.
He did it. All right, he was involved. He was involved one way or another, but nah, Shohei Ohtani, dude. He's. I mean, do you think he's gonna win the Cy Young Award one day?
He certainly has the potential. Sure. Why not? As long as he can really stay healthy and go out there and do it, sure. I mean, he's got the stuff. He really does.
He's great, dude. We have the pleasure of watching Shohei Ohtani. He's amazing, and Aaron Judge too. I mean, those two. I mean, wow. And to think like Juan Soto is a third, is like Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, right? Being the third one. You think in that?
Yeah. And the only thing I will say with the whole Cy Young thing is that, like, because of how stacked the Dodgers are and the way they operate throughout the season, like, I don't know if he's going to get enough chances, because, like, just overall in the season, because they're going to want to rest him in spots. They're going to, maybe limit his activity just because he does, both things. Yeah. And the Dodgers, they got literally, like, 7 starters. So, like, amongst, just a stacked bullpen.
Dude, they're stacked. I mean, Matt, do you like the Dodgers are gonna win again this coming season, right? I mean,
listen, they're their overall favorite. There's no doubt about that. Will they win? Probably not. I will say that. Here's my early take. No, the Dodgers will not win this year because I don't care what you say. I mean, they're clearly in the best position to win, no doubt. But to do it 3 times in a row, I don't care who you are. That is crazy difficult.
I know what you mean. You mean.
If there's ever a team to do it, it's them.
We haven't had a team three-peat since the 2002 Lakers.
Right.
So we're up for three-peat, right?
And has it ever been? Yankees did it?
Yankees did it 98, 99, 2000.
Right. And outside of that, do we know? I don't know. Well, Yankees probably did it again at one point early on in their history, right?
Yeah.
I'm forgetting a little bit. But yeah, exactly. Like that shows you how, and those Yankee teams were ridiculous. So it shows you that it's almost impossible. I would just say, I think it's an easy bet to say like, no, they're not. Like just because on the sheer difficulty of accomplishing that 3 years in a row. And I think there's some damn good teams in the MLB. I mean, and baseball's weird. At the end of the day, you got to play these games. Listen, they were 1 play away from losing it last year.
Yeah, it's a thing. But this is what I think. I do think 2 years in a row, like in the like Dodgers, they know they got it. Like they're sure in the regular season, they're gonna be lackadaisical, right? It took them seven game series against the Toronto Blue Jays, a team that really wanted it, right? So you saw in the Dodgers, you saw them being like the human side of things. It's just like sometimes you just don't have the same fire as the first World Series, right? But dude, I feel like now adding Edwin Diaz, Kyle Tucker, and just being the first team since the Yankees to three-peat, I think they really want a three-peat.
Of course. And listen, they got better. I mean, they won a World Series last year. And they didn't even have a closer. Now they have the best closer in all the baseball. We know them all too well. Can't wait to hear those damn trumpets. You think he's going to do the trumpets over there? Did they announce that yet? I'm sure they've asked him in spring training.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll be discussed. I'm sure that'll be discussed, right?
I say you got to switch it up. You can't go over there like, you've seen it with Ryan Hesley with the Hell's Bells and things like. Didn't quite work out, right? Like, new environment, new place. Switch it up a little bit. The Timmy Trumpets is dead, man. You know.
Yeah, and you know what, Matt? I will say I think the Mets, in the end, the Mets did have a good offseason, but I'm still disappointed with Pete Alonso letting Pete Alonso go.
I mean, it hurts. It hurts. It's so funny that we say that now because, like, what was it, 2 years ago, before his heroics, against Milwaukee in the playoffs, like, we were like, it's all right, We had a good run. Like, Pete could go. I mean, I always wanted to bring him back too, but it was like, I looked at it like, all right, like he's expendable. But yeah, this one hurts a little. I think you had to bring him back after the year he had. It was very steady. I think he's going to be a nice fit on Baltimore, but I think he'll regret going there. I do. I think Mets are going to have success, man. I think they're a good team. They have to be better than last year. If they're not better than last year, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you then.
So with the Mets, so you mentioned you think he might regret going to the Orioles. I mean, the Mets didn't give him an offer, so that's number one.
I know. Yeah, I know. The Mets didn't want him.
I know. That's a shame. It is what it is. But so I think we're still one bat away. You replace Pete Alonso with Jorge Polanco. What I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, but you can acquire a bat, bro. You can acquire. I think this offense is going to be good. I'm not really worried about the offense. I think defensively, things can spiral a bit here. I like the move to Soto to left field. I like that very much. It was a very necessary move by them. And maybe even later putting him towards DH. Not now, but I like him in left field.
Okay, interesting. So I know. So then the Mets are gonna put Carson Bench in right field.
Yeah, listen, Soto's not a great defender. His arm is less to be desired. You can't have him play right field. Not in Citi Field. The way it's constructed, I'd rather Bench or pretty much anybody else at this point than Soto. The way the field is constructed, it's just.
I know, but I kind of like Soto's arm though. I think he has a cannon.
He doesn't, man. He's accurate at times with it, but he doesn't have the most powerful arm out there.
I know what you mean, and I know he's considered like he's rated one of the worst right fielders, which is a crazy stat. Like he's rated one of the worst right fielders, but
he's slow.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, but okay, but how about this? And Matt, this is where like I think your take as a former baseball player comes in handy. Left field though, you have the majority batters are right-handed.
Yeah,
so does left field get more action than right field?
Not necessarily, no. And you would think, but the way they can position guys now, it's a little different. And a lot of times, some good lineups, a lot of big powers in the lefties and all that. And again, it's a shorter field in left. That whole cutout in right center down the right field line, that like little short porch, it's weird, man. I don't think he looked comfortable out there.
Okay,
I get that. Yeah. I think it's just a better move, and hopefully Benj, is the future. I mean, certainly offensively, this kid, looks like he can swing it. We'll see. You think he's even going to be there come opening day? You think they're rocking with him like that? I don't know.
Let's see how it does in the minor leagues, right? But I do like Carson Bench.
Yeah,
I like Carson Bench, and then you think eventually Ryan Clifford, if he stays, they're gonna slot him into first base.
Yeah. I mean, their little project of what we're seeing now, with Simeon and Bichette and all that, just the question marks, man. Like, I don't know. Defensively, that's what I mean. It could spiral in their face. I've already seen, Bichette struggle at third. So, yeah, there's going to be some movement in that infield, I'm sure. They're going to be looking for options there.
And then what are you gonna do with Brett Beatty, Mark Vientos? I like Brett. I mean, dude, Brett Beatty. He's shown up.
Probably the first base, option. They're gonna rock with Bichette at third, so it's either Beatty, Vientos, these guys. Somebody, like you said, Clifford. Somebody's gonna have to take that first base. You know, Simeon locking it down, you know, over at second, you know, be a platoon job maybe at worst. You know, it's not terrible, bro, but like it's not the greatest either. I like the change of culture. It was probably necessary. We'll see. You know,
That was disappointing because me personally, dude, I like Jeff McNeil and Brandon Nim. I thought they were like good dudes.
yeah, well, clearly something was wrong in that clubhouse. And I you know, especially between McNeil and Lindor. And it's kind of interesting in Steve Cohen's comments how, you know, he didn't really want to bring up, you know, or appoint a captain, you know, and said that, hey, you know, like as long as I own the team, there will be no captain. And it's very interesting, especially with the rumors last year. Oh, like, you know, Lindor might be named captain. Yeah. I think Nimmo took offense to that. And then you see everything just spiraled, you know. So
yeah.
And
so I will say a couple. Oh, you want to go?
No, I was just gonna last thing on that. Like, you know, definitely Cohen making a clear statement that, you know, Soto and Lindor, you know, as long as they're around, there will be no captain.
Yeah,
you know?
I know.
And I think it was an ego thing for the both of them. You know.
I think so. But Matt, I'm gonna tell you something, brother. Lindor, we like Lindor. That's our guy. I like him. My family likes him. He's charismatic. I want to see more from Lindor. He hasn't been consistent.
You have.
He hasn't.
All right, I'm gonna touch on that topic in a second, but I'm going to address the comments here on Twitch. Beyonce, it's a Beyonce Knowles Carter over here. Thank you for showing up. You have an admire is Beyonce left a comment saying, "The dude on the left, you're fine as hell, and I would risk it all just to have a cig with you."
I'm assuming that's me.
Yeah, that comment is addressed to you. I'm not on the left of the screen. I'm on the right.
I'm on the bottom.
Yeah, not the screen that you see. The screen that, you know, everybody sees on the live stream right now. But
damn. Okay, well, I appreciate that, Beyonce Knowles Carter.
Yeah, well, clearly not the real Beyonce, but
I know.
I don't know. Do you want me to you know, connect you? Dude on the right could also get it. Oh my!
We're handsome dudes, man. This is great.
Oh, that was good. Thank you. That just made my night, Beyonce. I appreciate you. You know, stick around, follow up. Thank you for the follow.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was definitely the highlight of the night. I might have to clip that one and put that on the gram.
By all means, and do it by all means. I'll take a Friday night compliment. You can find IZZSWERO.
Beyonce, I appreciate the comment. I'm happily married, so you know, there's to that, you know. But my friend over here, I don't know. Are you still in the game? You single over there?
Yes. So IZZ, my IG IZZSWERO.
Right, there you go. All right, there you go. I'll even pull up his profile for you just real quick. Beyonce, if you're really interested, okay, I'll pull up his Instagram for you. So
that's funny. That's funny.
Thank you for joining us. Beyonce, if you have a sports take or any type of take outside of the take that you just gave us, we'd love to hear it from you. Just drop it in the comments. We'll talk a little bit while are you still willing to hang? I know you and me been going for a while now.
Yeah, man, let's do like 5 more minutes. 5-7 more minutes. Yeah, because I do gotta get home eventually.
Sure. Yeah, I know. You know, you over there in the car hanging out doing this for me. I appreciate it.
I love this, dude. Friday night decompress. I love it, dude. I love it. We gotta get. I'm trying to get Eddie. One day.
I mean, if it helps, you know, he can, you know, come on with you, obviously, you know, like, and we could just have an overall discussion, you know, like that'd be dope. Instead of him just like, you know, coming on privately. Here you go, Beyonce. There's Israel's profile right there. Pretty sure that's coming in clear for you. All right, check him out. IZZSWERO, Israel Suero. All right, give him a follow. Hit him up in the DMs. I'm looking forward to hearing about this if there is a follow-up. I'm going to take Trazodone and pass the fuck out. I'm so sorry. All right, well, make sure it's the right dosage. Don't take too much there, Beyonce. All right, dose responsibly. And listen, thank you for stopping by the stream tonight. I appreciate you, and thank you for the follow.
Beyonce sounds like trouble.
All right, listen, with that comment right there, we got to watch out a little bit. All right, babe? Well, listen, I hope you get your beauty sleep. All right? Again, appreciate you. Keep showing up. Yeah, man. So I think it'd be awesome to have Eddie on. I think it'd be... Oh my God, Beyonce! Now you get me a little worried. All right, don't be. It's never the right dosage. I love you. Good night. Jesus Christ.
It's funny stuff.
That was made my night easy.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Good night, Beyonce. Yeah, man. Listen, we got to convince him. Maybe I'll hit him up, and we'll do a little convincing. He's overthinking it. See, it's like we're hanging out, we're having a good time. It's just
He's overthinking it. But back to Lindor. I just think about Lindor. He needs to step it up.
What? What do you mean? What do you need to step it up? He's not done well enough for you statistically over the years.
Matt, last year he had 12 errors in shortstop.
All right. Yes, it was a very odd year defensively for him. But he had a new kid, I believe, right? You gotta remember, there's a human behind that mask, that hat, bro, like that helmet, underneath that helmet, like shit happens, man.
Bro, he doesn't hit the baseball for 2 months.
No, he gets into these weird. I think it's culturally, man. Pete did the same shit. Pete did the same shit.
He's no longer with us. Yeah.
Well, all right, touche there.
Yeah.
No, listen, he's done enough. I mean, he's been historically,
like
bro.
I love him.
I know you get on. You're tough, bro. You're tough to please. All right. We didn't even get into the Knicks, all right? Because I know you're gonna blast off. We should really just end the show on now. I want to hear your Knicks take because I know you touched on it briefly there for a second in regards to the Pistons walloping them. But yeah, listen, we'll see, bro. We'll see. There's 162 on the way. I'll be in spring training in a couple of weeks. I'll let you know how it goes, okay? Actually, Lindor should be there, right? Because he's not playing for Puerto Rico.
Oh, that sucks. I know. I would love to see him play for Puerto Rico, but because he got injured. I mean,
he should. I would think he'd be down there still, with the team and all that. So, if he's not playing, so.
Yeah, you'd think Nolan McLean, he's gonna participate in the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, playing for USA, right? Yeah, man, it's great, very good.
Yeah.
And I like this because it also gives a lot of youngsters in spring training who are not, participating to, for them to get some quality playing time and, really show what's up. So it's gonna be good. Freddie Peralta. The last baseball thing, Freddie Peralta named opening day starter today.
Yeah.
Excuse me. What are your thoughts? Obvious choice, right? You had to go with him.
Obvious choice. He's the ace for the Milwaukee Brewers. He's gonna be the ace for the Mets, and and now that makes Nolan McLean a very strong second in the rotation. Very strong. I
agree, and you got to feel good about that. And it strengthens his team. And we needed pitching. That was and I wasn't really expecting the Peralta move, so that was nice. It was nice to see there. It really, I think, it salvaged the offseason, a little bit. It was like, okay. It's not quite how we expected it to go down, but it's a bit of a retooling. Let's see. It's a David Stearns culture now.
What do you think about Devin Williams though? Devin Williams as closer.
Listen, I'm not excited about that. That was the scapegoat, the pivot move from Edwin Diaz, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think it came down to financials. Everybody's saying, "Oh, the Mets, you know, they shorted him out $3 million." No, that wasn't the case, bro. He wanted to go to LA. Like that.
He wanted to.
That's just it.
It's all right. That's his right. It is he. You know. Yeah.
He wanted out. He wanted out. He was going there regardless. He spoke about his brother's experience, even though it was briefly with the Dodgers. How, you know, and it was brief but impactful. And he spoke about his experience over there. Diaz was convinced. And listen, you know, back-to-back World Series, winning culture, the whole nine. It's not that the Mets have not developed some winning culture, but hey, they missed the playoffs last year. There was definitely something going on in that clubhouse.
Yeah.
I can't necessarily blame the guy, you know. But no, am I in love with Devin Williams as the closer? Hell no. Could he have a resurgence type year? Yes, he could, but that's a big what if, especially when it's coming down to your closer. He looked good with the Yankees in the later part of the year last year.
Yeah.
You know, but ever since, you know, Pete slapped him around in that Milwaukee game, he was never the same, you know, outside of what he's shown you a little bit with the Yanks last year. So I don't know. We'll see, man. You know, he could be dominant once again. He could be an absolute disaster. And if so, they're going to have to really think fast and figure something out because you know how that goes, man. You know, especially with nowadays starters typically, and that's like a knock on Peralta, right? Like they just don't go deep into games. So this 5-inning shit accompanied with bad bullpen can derail a season real quick. It just, I don't care how good your offense is. If your pitching is not working or you guys are just exhausted, like the bullpen's depleted because they're overworked. You know, I mean, it was like what? For months last year, it was like every start of the Mets, 4 innings, 3 innings, 4 innings, 3 innings, 5 innings, 4 innings. It was like there's nobody could go deep. Nobody could give the bullpen a day off. You know, there's no relief, nothing. You know, like, and that shit up over a long season, that adds up, man.
Yeah.
You know,
And
that
no,
is
I
just
want to be clear.
absurd.
The Mets are a playoff team. They're a playoff team.
No, they should be.
Yeah.
We said that last year too, and it you know, it just wasn't the case. You know, like it completely fell apart. So, I don't know anymore. I really don't. But I don't know. If you ask me, I feel optimistic going into the season. How about you?
Yeah. Oh, I do. Yeah. I feel optimistic that the Mets are a playoff team.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Are they a World Series contender? I don't think so.
I think I think they're somewhere in that conversation, but they're certainly not ahead of the pack. You know, and Dodgers overshadow everybody else. But baseball's baseball, man. You know, it's proven that you get in there, you get in the playoffs, anything can really happen. And, you know, those games, you know, that is truly, it's like a hot NHL team, man. You have a great goalie, get hot at the right time, and, you know, you could see a underdog go deep. So I don't know.
Yep.
You know, there's that, you know, but I mean, listen, with the Dodgers done, man, how could you be super optimistic about, you know, a title contender for anybody? You know, I guess outside of being Toronto, and which they got some question marks. So I don't know.
Yeah, I know. And I know
We'll
you
see.
wanted to. So my battery's actually it's been great. My battery's actually, I just got the warning. Battery's down, but I know you wanted to end it with the Knicks.
Yes, real quick, baby. Give me the Knicks.
So listen, I mean, the Knicks. I mean, I didn't expect the Pistons to be as good as they are. Okay, that's number one. They're looking like the team to beat in the East.
Yeah.
Celtics are overperforming. You know, right? Celtics, so it's like, damn it, like you think that with Jason Tatum out, the Boston Celtics were going to be out of the picture. No, they're not, right? And then now the Cleveland Cavaliers, they got James Harden, right? So now we have more. We in the Eastern Conference, we have more competition than we expected coming into the season, right? So it's like, damn, look at that. So Matthew Benedetti, the Knicks will not win the finals this.
No, shocker.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Listen. You know, again, it's kind of like they're good, but they're not good enough, right? I don't know.
It's hard. Winning is hard. I get it.
It is, no doubt. I mean, if I had to pick a winner right now, it's probably going to be the Spurs. But
That's what they're saying. The
you know,
Spurs, yeah.
I like the Spurs. I do, and I've seen enough what they've been able to, stifle OKC, and OKC has finally shown its flaws a little bit. But
Yeah.
Detroit's good, but I gotta, listen, high expectation for Detroit, man.
Yeah, I
You
know.
coming into that as a 1 seed, you better show up and be that 1 seed.
Yeah, agreed.
So I don't know. I'm gonna hold that. The Knicks are still a damn good team. Playoff basketball is very different, as you know.
Agreed.
And yeah, listen, I did mention, like, hey, injuries happen, things like that. Boston beat the Knicks 4 times last year, and even before the Tatum injury, they were well on their way to kicking their ass in the playoffs. So I know the Boston faithful want to flip that narrative and say that, Boston would have won if it wasn't for the injury. That's BS. Knicks were about to win that game before he goes down. They were up, and they were about to go up 3-1 in that series. So you could kiss that BS narrative goodbye.
Agreed.
And listen, anything can happen. I don't know. I just don't know. Is Detroit better? Absolutely. They've showed every sign of that. They deserve that. They've earned that right. Do I have faith in Cat being my big guy? Hell no. I said that before we even acquired him. I say that now. Do I like him? Sure. Is he guaranteed, double-double most? Yeah. Go and get you those rebounds. Go and get you a steady 20. But he's inconsistent for the most part. And when you need him the most, it seems like he doesn't, come up.
I know. Yeah.
The rest of the team, the way it's constructed, I like it. But that whole Mike Brown method of moving the ball, spacing out the floor and shit and being fast-paced, it kind of, where the hell did that go? It's become very isolationist again with Brunson and all that. And as much as I love Brunson, as good as he is, that's not always going to work. And the good teams are going to figure that out, and you need a guaranteed, elite second scorer, man. And the Cat is not that guy for me, and so it's like, where does he go now, and they got some question marks there, man. I really was looking at Giannis, man, as a potential, and I don't even know if that would have been the right move. I don't know, because it may have just obliterated our depth and, caused issues there. So, it's a tough move, man.
I just don't see the Knicks. Dude, do you think the Knicks will win in our lifetime, Matt?
Oh man, I sure as hell hope so.
Yeah, dude.
I want to say
listen,
yes,
Matt,
I do.
Matt, I think the Mets are bound to win in the next 5 to 7 years. Okay.
I think so too.
I don't know about the Knicks just because it's a different sport. It's I just don't know, right? It's just hard. It's very hard. I think the Mets are positioned to win. As long as Steve Cohen is the owner, I think the Mets are positioned to win, is what I am saying. Okay? Knicks, I just don't know.
I mean, they're certainly a good team, but it feels like the clock is running out, right? Already, with Brunson. It's like, okay, like, we're going to make that transit. But they're right there, bro. They really are right there where just one big acquisition, can change it. Maybe Giannis still comes, but maybe it's not right now.
Another gripe with the NBA, free agency doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, well, yeah, but they're not necessarily winning in that trade deadline market either. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, because I mean, we don't need, dude. The Knicks gave 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges. We have no assets to give.
Yeah. Well, he is the asset, and that's it. It kind of feels like a slight culture change is needed to make that next move now, but that's going to cause too much of a wait time, for Brunson and this main core, so it's a tough fix right now.
You trade Cat and Mikal Bridges for Giannis?
Yeah, that was my original thought process. It was like Cat and OG or Cat Bridges. Maybe you throw in a McBride or something like that. But it might have to be during the off season. I mean, clearly it's not going to happen now, obviously. But
yeah.
Maybe off season, maybe even during the season next year. But I
like
know.
OG.
And when's he a free
like
agent?
OG.
2 years from now? I think
Yeah.
2 free agency, right? Like I don't think you want to wait that long. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
especially with his health. I think his window is kind of now. So then you look to the next superstar, and we know how that story goes, man. And Nick's always like, well, it almost happened, but it never happened. It's like, oh shit. Well, when is it? Brunson was, fell into our lap. We were like, oh my god, like
Amazing.
it's
Yeah.
like we didn't really know what to do with it. It's like, oh wow, yeah, thank you. Like, like
Yeah. Agreed.
and then they're trying to figure it out now, but I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you know who's at the helm, man? Dolan. I mean, Dolan's got that mix in it. It was a little. I don't know. I don't always quite trust that man.
Yeah, I get it. Everybody shits on Dolan. I do get it, but I mean, right now he's letting Leon Rose captain the ship.
Is he?
Yeah.
Sure
I
about
think so.
that?
Jordan, I don't have an inside source.
No,
but...
I know. I know. I'm fucking with you, but that's what I mean. Yeah. I don't know. Really? Yeah.
Yeah,
sometimes I question that, man, and I wouldn't know either, but
yeah, I don't. But I think, but the Knicks, like, I mean, I like their attitude. I mean, Jalen Brunson, we love him here in New York City. Jalen Brunson, 100%. I know, I agree with you about Cat. Yeah, man. I mean, we'll see. It's just, yeah, I get you. I get Mike Brown. Mike Brown is a very good coach. No denying, he is a good coach. Is he a championship winning coach? He's won as an assistant. Has he won as a championship? As he won as a head coach? He has not.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point, man. Yeah, definitely have to prove himself too, and you see a little bit of feuding with him and Josh Hart, and I don't think he necessarily gets along with everybody like they did with Tibbs and. Cat as well, and that's a big question mark too.
Really?
I've seen it. I've seen enough to where it's if you pay attention, in these games and out of timeouts, I don't think there's that mutual respect there. At least not right now.
I hear you.
Certainly with Tibbs, it was there. Did maybe he lose a little bit of that? Before his departure, potentially, but they love Tibbs. He was on the whole podcast thing and everything. So
I know. Yeah, I know. I get that. Yeah. I feel that. Yeah. Damn. I'm just thinking like was Dan Hurley supposed to be Dan Hurley, right? Was he supposed to be the coach for the Knicks, right?
It's too late to make that call now. You're riding with Brown. You got to ride with him. This is it. And I would imagine. Yeah. Next year too, I don't see any scenario in which, all right, like maybe or like a first round exit if they're like fully healthy. Did we lose you?
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay, all right. The camera. I just want to make. I know you said your battery was dying, but the camera.
Yeah, no, we're good. Yeah, no, I have to do something real quick. I have to reply to actual bit of an. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. I got you on audio. Yeah, man. I think there's no scenario in which they fire him. Maybe first round exit. Where they really shouldn't have lost. And maybe then it was if they get like swept in the first round or that would be maybe terms for firing him, but. I don't really see a scenario in which they do. He's probably going to be around for, a second year.
Yeah, no,
I would think.
I'm not calling for him to get fired. Yeah. No, I'm not saying that. I was just thinking. I was being rhetorical. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I like Mike Brown. I think it's more personnel. It's more the Knicks need to play defense.
Right. Yeah. No.
Yeah, man.
That's it, bro. I'm going to cap off the show shortly after I relieve you. It's a 2-hour show right here. Thank you for joining me. This became our show together. I intended on bringing on somebody else. I feel bad, but I'm sure I'll get him on. Well, I'll hit him up, and we'll make that happen on a future show.
I like it, man. Let's do this every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks, whatever, man. I like it.
Hey, man, whatever. You willing to jump on, even for a quick Friday night spot, 10, 15-minute call? Truly, I make sure I cap you off that. But, as long as you're willing, bro.
liked it. I liked it.
This is, this is kind of how I've been doing the show lately. I'm really just trying to get people on here and talking. We're trying to
Great. I love it.
whoever,
I love it. It's fun, man.
I got some big things in the works. I told you a little bit privately. We officially have a guest speaker for March 8th. I'm trying to lock down some other potential clients to come on the show. So some big, I don't want to reveal any huge details on that yet, because it hasn't been solidified, but we're definitely in discussion about it. So I'm very excited about the direction of Epis Radio and where we're going and the future of it. And this is a part of it, man, especially just, bringing my guys like, my friends like you and other people like that just feel like-minded, want to come on, want to talk. So if you got anybody interested, you let them know. Yeah, they got an open invite. And we can make it happen.
As March
Just hit me
Madness
up.
comes in the NBA playoffs, oh man, it's gonna be lit.
Yeah. All right, bro. Do your thing. Get out of here. Have a beautiful rest of your. Well, it's now Saturday morning. I gotta wake up early and go. I'm gonna go rock climbing and work out a little bit tomorrow. So. Do
Very
my
nice.
thing,
All right, my
baby.
brother. Have a good weekend, brother.
You too, bro. We'll be in touch as always, man.
Take care.
All right, bro. That's my boy is. Thank you for joining the show tonight, man. What a guest spot from Iz. Play a little music. Wind down a little bit here. For episode 61, I want to thank my guest speaker for coming on, Israel Suero. Check him out on Instagram. Yeah, pop that up. One more time, show my brother some love. Give him a follow. All right, marathon runner, finance guy, and just an overall good friend. And apparently has a new admirer that I hope to hear more about. Beyonce, that followed us on Twitch tonight. Thank you for showing up. Appreciate you. Thank you for the follow. That had to be the highlight of the show for me. Those comments that you made, Beyonce, so that was cool. Thank you for stopping by. Hope you stop by for a future show, even when Iz is not on. All right, but you got my beautiful face, so you could always come and admire that. I'm sure my wife won't mind. It's okay. All right, well, how's everybody feeling? How are you feeling? Let me know in the comments. How'd you like the show? If you have anything that you want me to touch on a future episode, or you want me to discuss further about this episode, drop it in the comments. You can hit me up privately, DM me on Instagram, either on Epis Radio page, Epis Benedetti. All right, as you see on the screen, right there, right below. All right. There was a lot of topics I did want to hit. I hit most of them, mainly the whole Olympic controversy with Trump, USA men's and women's hockey team. There was a couple other things that I wanted to highlight tonight, but I'm gonna save it for a later episode. Probably, I don't know, this weekend. I will be back. We are bringing back Mental Mondays. I know I've said that in previous episodes. A lot going on for me, kids, family, the whole nine. But Mental Mondays with Epis is returning this Monday. Okay, I'm off from work. I'm going to make that happen. And I'm excited. I'm excited to talk a little Mental Mondays and get behind the camera and just, talk about what's been going on in my mind a little bit. Taking care of my mental health a little bit. And that's why I've taken a step back with the Mental Mondays since my last Mental Mondays episode and just my overall daily content creator. I released a video on my personal page and on the Epis Radio page today about that a little bit. Kind of touched on that and how, I kind of took a backseat to the daily content creating and had to just kind of step away a little bit from the algorithm and, spoke on how I was a victim of the algorithm and the doom scrolling and just felt like I was putting on a performance for people rather than just kind of showing up and doing my thing and having fun with the content. And I think it's so important to talk about, especially when we live in this social media society, and we're all victims of the algorithm one way or the other, and how that algorithm may dictate our lives, and how the cause and effect it has on our lives. And I can only speak from my experience and what I how it made me felt. It may not be the same experience for everybody, but certainly for me, I had to take a step back and revamp what it is I'm doing or why I'm doing it, and just mainly revitalizing the passion that I once had when I first started all of this, which is not too long ago. I would say about a year and a half ago now, where I really went full throttle with the online content stuff, whether it be my running content, Ice Bias content, the Mental Mondays, obviously the sports podcast, all that stuff. But it's a lot. I got a lot going on. I have 4 kids, 3 that live with me full time, and the wife, the whole 9. I work a job. On top of this, and spending time editing for the show and editing for the content. While training for marathons, let me tell you, I'm a human. That's all I can say. I'm human. I'm trying to be the best father. I'm trying to be the best friend I could be, the best husband I could be, and the best online presence I could be. I want, when you scroll across my page, and if your algorithm finds me, I want to leave a positive, lasting impact for you. And I felt like I couldn't do it anymore the way I wanted to. And so I had to take a small break. It wasn't that long of a hiatus, about like a 2-week, break. I still had somewhat of a presence, but if you follow me, you understand, where, I'm no longer, I haven't been putting out weekly mental health videos and things like that. I was posting virtually, like daily running, or every other day running content, ice bear content. Like, it's just, even doing that, it started to weigh heavily on me. And, mainly it wasn't feeding my soul anymore. I wasn't having as much fun with it as I normally have in the past. And so that's what this Mental Mondays is going to be. That's what it's going to talk about. Obviously, I got some other topics sprinkled in there. I think it's going to be a solo dolo stream. We'll see how it goes. But hey, if any of you are watching this right now, or you're watching it in post, let me know. You want to come on? By all means, come on. Hit me up. DM me. You can hang out with me in the comments. You can make a quick call in. Whatever it is you want to do it. We would love to have you on. I would love to have you on. All right. Woo! 2 hours, 15 minutes since we have been live, Twitch and YouTube, man. What a night. Friday night. What a day. What a week. What a week. Woo! This human thing, man. It's adult life. Nobody said it was ever going to be easy. That's for sure. Man, I had a great time tonight. Great show. Love talking with my friend Iz. He's always a blast. Always a good time. And, he's just going to be a nice little feature on this show for as long as this show's around. Good man, good friend of mine. Known him since high school, and he's been true to me ever since. So I appreciate the love, man. Keep showing up as always, my guy. And to all of you, I hope you have a beautiful weekend. I hope you can join me this Monday night and we talk a little bit. If you cannot, please take the time to do so. Watch the next episode. Maybe watch the previous episode. Let me know what you think. All right. And check out my socials for when I do post my content. And please, if you can, it would mean a lot to me. Like, comment, share, subscribe. It goes a long, long way in the growth of this program. And it means a lot to me. So, without further ado, I'm going to get out of here and we're going to hit this outro. But as always, everybody, it's your boy Matty B, Epis Radio. Keep showing up.
Wake up! You can't remember where it was. Has this dream stopped?
Hope you find some kind of peace of mind.
Oh, I'm gonna find that peace of mind, baby. I'm gonna find that peace of mind.
Some kind of peace of mind.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining me for episode 61 of Epis Sports Radio. Epis Radio returns Monday night for Mental Mondays with Epis. Stay tuned and keep showing